I'm here to tell you that the Indiana Fever are now contenders for the WNBA championship. Did you notice what happened in the WNBA? The 6'4" scoring machine, DeWanna Bonner, just joined forces with the team, and now every other team is trembling. Let me explain. Bonner isn't just any player, she's a defensive nightmare and a walking bucket, and she's going to team up with Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and, a little rookie named Kaylin Clark. The Indiana Fever went from being the underdogs to the top dogs overnight, and now they're showing that they want that ring because they just signed Danielle Bonner for the 2025 season. They didn't just sign a player, they signed a superstar. DeWanna Bonner is now wearing a suit in Fever colors, and let me tell you, this is going to change the game. Now, let's take a look at what DeWanna Bonner is really like. She's huge, can shoot from three, can push through the paint, and has length. We have plenty of shooters in Indiana, I promise, and this upcoming season will be epic. We're talking about a 6'4" scoring machine who has been dominating the league for years. She's not just tall, she's versatile. She can play guard or forward, making her a nightmare for opposing teams. When you look at her stats, it seems like the Indiana Fever added 3 players in one. She is 6'4" and 14 and is a fantastic forward guard. 9 out of 6, 1 rebound and 2. 3 assists, all rookie, 2009, all defensive team, 2015, all WNBA, 2015, and 6 Women's Player of the Year in 3 consecutive years, may have you wondering if she is past her prime. However, last season, Bonner put up stats that would have freshmen envious. We're talking about 14.9 points for every 6 games, 1 rebound and 3 assists, and she's doing it in her 3rd game. Age is just a number for Bonner, and she proves it every time she takes the court. Many people were worried that she might retire, but her numbers are telling the truth. She was a sniper last season, but she had a bit of a slump. But it's not just about the numbers. Bonner brings championship experience. She's been there, done that, and now she's ready to do it again with the Fever. Can you believe that the Fever found her? Coaches are already gushing about her impact. One even claimed that she can shoot from 3 and push through the paint. We don't lack shooters in Indiana, and that's right, the Fever just got much more dangerous. Her stats from the previous season indicate that she did experience a slight slump, but for the most part, she was just shooting and sinking. She scored about 6 points in 36 minutes, but that wasn't her typical game play. This season, however, she is playing really well, scoring 33 minutes, 29 points, 3-6, 2-4, 3-1-2-3. I mean, 40 minutes, 22 points, and she has some gas left in the tank. Let's talk defense for a moment. Bonner was named to the all-defensive team previously, and her length and skills will give opposing offenses nightmares. They improve their entire game, and this is the ideal signing. The Indiana Fever could have won, and as much as people like the Fever don't need Bonner, they really do. Every team in the WNBA could use DeWanna Bonner, who is a defensive all-star with 64 points per game, a veteran, a champion, and positionally versatile. What's really crazy is that although some people thought Bonner was slowing down last season, she would go out and score 20 points or more, reminding everyone why she's still one of the best in the game. She's not just joining the Fever, though. She's coming with a chip on her shoulder, ready to disprove the doubters. I put them right up there with the Liberties, Lynx, and I think they might have a better bench there. Let's go back a little to last season, when the Fever was, let's say, not frightening anyone. But then something changed, and we're seeing a super team come together in real time. You might be asking, the super team, the Fever? Are you serious? But listen to me, DeWanna Bonner has signed for the Fever champion as if they have to enter the championship favorites. And they actually have to by re-signing Kelsey Mitchell to train for Sophie Cunningham and assigning Bonner. And Tasha Hard, the Fever, have exploded into the title conversation. This isn't just about DeWanna Bonner. It's about the master plan that the Fever's front office has been quietly carrying out. They have Aaliyah Boston, a player that everyone is happy with, and they continue to develop Kelsey Mitchell, making her a scoring threat that keeps defenders up at night, but they weren't done yet. The Fever's two biggest needs in 2024 were defense and playoff experience. So they added an experienced coach and 3 veterans. With the 5 WNBA titles, Kayla Clark will be vying for a championship in her second year in the league. They brought in Natasha Howard, a veteran with championship experience, Sophie Cunningham, a sharpshooter who can light it up from beyond the arc, and now, as far as pushing through the paint, Danielle Bonner is also very good at it. However, I'm not sure if she is the most powerful player that could have been developed. Again, this is our 2025 season, so I don't think everyone becomes a free agent in 2026. So I think this season is almost like a standalone year to see how everyone fits in and what they can do with this Indiana Fever team. It seems like they've discovered a secret to success right now, but this is where things get really interesting. The Fever have assembled a team that fits together like a puzzle, with the young guns like Boston and Mitchell eager to prove themselves, and the veterans. We can't say that the Indiana Fever have no enforcers anymore, because I'm not sure if that was a requirement in their free agency, but consider all of the players they signed. Natasha Howard, an enforcer. Sophie Cunningham, an enforcer. DeWanna Bonner, who isn't afraid to get chippy on the court. And Luka Doncic joining the Lakers. Now, you might be wondering, well, but can they actually play together? That's the big question, but great players manage to make it work. And when you see the skill sets these women bring to the table, it's hard not to get excited. Bon's versatility means she can play multiple positions. Howard's defense is elite. Mitchell can score from anywhere on the court. And Boston, she's only beginning to realize her full potential. Now, for the time of logic, the Indiana Fever with the D signed Danielle Bonner, and I assume that this was it. Now, while Bonner has length, which is absolutely necessary for Indiana, because when you consider the championship teams, they're big, Havit-Jayen, Quell Jones, Leonie Fitch, and Breanna Stewart, and Indiana isn't a big team. When you take those factors into account, the Indiana Fever went from rebuilding to championship favorites almost overnight. It's like watching a caterpillar turn into a butterfly, except that this butterfly can dunk the rest. Of the WNBA, they're shaking teams that were planning their playoff runs and are now frantically trying to figure out how to stop this Fever squad means. However, Amber Cook stated that they are looking for veterans with that playoff experience. So I believe that as we look to free agency, we'll think about veterans coming in with that playoff experience. What did they do? They signed Natasha Howard and Danielle Bonner, 2 veterans with playoff experience, to develop this young team and take Indiana to the next level. You may be asking yourself, okay, the Fever looks good on paper, but what about Caitlin Clark? Well, get ready, because we're about to dive into the most exciting part of the whole story. He said, ultimate gift right here, bro. Between them, they're bringing a total of 155 playoff games of experience, with Barr and Howard each winning multiple championships. That kind of veteran presence was a major need for the Fever. Now they have a proven trio to support Aaliyah Boston, Kayla Clark, and Kelsey Mitchell. As you can see, they go to the big 3 and they have a super team. They basically put together a super team for Kayla Clark and a Fever. This is huge, man. Take a moment to consider this. You're Caitlin Clark, the most anticipated rookie in years. You dominated in your rookie season, averaging 19 points per game and a ridiculous 8. You're going to play with Danielle Bonner, a seasoned player who knows how to win, Natasha Howard, another champion, and don't forget that you provide 4 assists per game. Kelsey Mitchell is a scoring machine in her own right. It's like the Fever is saying, hey, Caitlin, we're not just here for another development year. We're here to win. With that said, they have a choice. With your second-round pick, take Sedona Prince. I don't care about the off-course or if Ray and Marshall are there. Obviously, you take them there as a big, but if not, take Sedona Prince for size, because the only thing they're lacking is size takes it on a Prince. Now, you might be wondering if this is too much pressure for Clark, but here's where it gets really interesting. This setup takes a ton of... I feel like this move right here is making sure Caitlin Clark gets her championship, bro. There's no doubt about it. And let's talk about those instructors for a moment. Playing with veterans like Bonner and Howard is like getting a basketball PhD while competing for a championship. These women have been there, done that, and gotten the rings to prove it. They know all the tricks and secrets to succeeding in the WNBA, and now they're going to share that. It's like the Fever just handed her the keys to a sports car, but they also gave her the best driving instructors in the world. Knowledge with Clark every single day. And in the playoffs, I believe, Stephanie White had her defending Caitlin. She was cooking Caitlin. And I assume that Stephanie White played a big role in this decision because she was the coach in Connecticut and knew what Dee Bonner could do. At 6'4", I believe she was just too hard to pass up. Can you imagine the impact this could have on Clark's game? It's like taking a Ferrari and giving it a rocket booster. Both Sophie Gamm and DeWanna Bonner are versatile, and they can play to 4, to 3, or to 2. Stiff-arm defender shoots the lights out, and Sophie Cunningham does the same. They are all versatile shooters who can play in different systems, but the thing that has the entire league in a frenzy is that they aren't just preparing Caitlin Clark for success. They're putting her in a position where she can learn from the best and still have room to develop into an even more dominant player. It's a perfect storm of talent, experience, and potential. And for anyone who believes that there was drama between CCE and Bonner, listen, look at what happened with Marina Mabrey and Dee Carrington. They had numerous altercations before and then they played on the same team. When you have a teammate, you focus on that team and building that chemistry. I have to think that their professionalism and etiquette are such that I choose to look past that, and I am just looking forward to what Dan Bonner can bring to the Indiana Fever and how they build their team chemistry this season. You know that feeling when you see a storm coming, and that's exactly what the rest of the WNBA is feeling right now. The Indiana Fever went from being the underdogs to the team that is giving everyone nightmares. And let me tell you that it's not just because they signed DeWanna Bonner. They now have a starting lineup that could make any coach shudder. They have lost pretty much everything today, so please accept my condolences to those fans. Caitlin Clark, the phenom, is running the point. Kelsey Mitchell is there to light it up from deep, and DeWanna Bonner is doing well. But here's where it gets really interesting. The Fever didn't just assemble a starting 5, they also assembled a squad that can beat you in a variety of ways. But I really believe that Grace Berger, Lexi Hall, and Sophie Cunningham are now off the bench, which makes them one of the most lethal bench teams in the W. It lets the Fever go small, big, and running, and it gives them 2 lockdown defenders on their bench. Now, picture yourself on another WNBA team. How would you even start to game plan for this? Who would you focus on stopping it?